I'd like to start by having you give us an idea of where this idea came from.
Drawn to Death came from, I think ultimately it comes from wherever the magic, the twisted magic comes from when kids in high school doodle in their notebooks or junior high school doodle in their notebooks. I mean, that's everybody we've shown this concept to, probably 1 out of every 5 people say, I was that kid, or they say, I sat next to that kid, So pretty much it's sort of just this universal, or at the very least American, we don't know how well this is going to travel, but certainly American thing to sort of sit in class and daydream and doodle and just draw crazy shit. So there's that, and then specifically speaking, I'm a terrible artist. I don't even consider myself an artist, so I communicate through stick figures. And ages ago, 4 years ago, I guess, we wanted to do, or I was thinking about, hey, let's do a dodgeball game. Let's do a game inspired by a Super Nintendo game back in the day called Super Dodgeballs. Actually, Super something dodgeball. It was very violent, not violent, very hard-hitting dodgeball game from Japan. And so I was just drawing it with my stick figures because that's how I draw. And I was like, oh my God, super violent stick figure dodgeball. So that's what it started, and then it just grew into it should be this. So those two things came together.
Creatively, what did being within this drawing book open up for you guys to be able to explore different aspects?
Well, I mean, it's two things. One is at a pure mechanics level, or mostly mechanics level, which is if you look at shooters today or multiplayer games today, a lot of them are set in the real world, or the real world in the future a little bit. And so they're limited to sort of the sort of, the battle campaign on the globe at a specific area, or a specific time period. Being in a notebook, especially with a creative kid who's got history class, and then goes into American literature, and then goes into European history, it's like old school shooters like Unreal. Suddenly you're on a pirate ship, and the next level is a spaceship, and the next level is, the caveman era or whatever. It gives us the freedom to make lots of varieties of levels, not just from a play standpoint and a visual standpoint. The other thing, though, that I love about it is that outside of just looking at the action, the story of this kid is told in the notebook. So even the level that we've had here today, people are running around and just shooting. Most people haven't noticed it. But in there, if you look in certain windows in an alley, you can see his stepdad having an affair with a woman that he left his mother for. You can see a note that his girlfriend, or the girl he likes, has drawn stuff in the notebook when he had gotten sent to the principal's office and was out of class. And it's just these little peeks into his actual real life. All of these characters, very much like the Wizard of Oz, a lot of them are inspired by people in his life. So this character we have running around that has this giant creepy mouse head on, his name is Alan. They're like, why is his name Alan? It's like, because underneath that mask we eventually learn it's his stepdad who he fucking hates, right? So his brother is in here. He draws himself as Johnny Savage the Punk in here. That's how he sees the world. So there's actually, even though it's not at the moment a big story-based game, it's actually, we wanted to drop players into a fun game first and foremost, and have observant players start to go, wow, there's a world here. There's something more here than just a really cool shooting gallery. So that's what we're hoping happens. So that's what being in a notebook has allowed us to do.
And speaking of drawing players in, you talk a little about the hand and how that actually plays a role in the game world.
Yeah, so every match begins when the hand draws you, and basically you come to life and drop vertically. Obviously you drop into the notebook, and we follow you down, and now you land in the notebook and you begin your adventure, you begin your battle. The hand and the room in which he's drawing comes into the game in all kinds of ways. You can call upon the hand, almost like these characters. We don't say it in the game, but we think about it like the hand is almost like their god. So they don't even know what they don't know what this thing is. It's just, it will give them power-ups, it will give them rides around the level. You can jump on its pencil and then control it while it stabs your opponents and kills your opponents. So it's, and also the levels, certain levels are being created around you. So some levels start in a big open white field, and before you know it, you're in an old Roman Colosseum, because you can hear the teacher teaching them about that time era, but the hand is actually drawing the audience and drawing the walls and drawing the grottos and all of these things to create that level around you. So the hand is very much a character that you can call upon to use and play, and that just is also just floating around the level and changing it in real time around you.
How do you play with color, in that a lot of this is black and white, but then you do have the stark reds and other colors?
Well, I mean, obviously the red's easy. We want to go black and white and then blood, but we also, mechanics are always the most important thing, gameplay is the most important thing, and we're still trying to figure out, even today we had people say, we're very early, and it's like, I love the art style, but some things get lost because I want to know where my enemy is and I can't see enough of that enemy. So we're still playing around with, are we going to have the kid go in with different color pens and color in the jackets of the characters, so it still looks drawn in. The further we get away from just pure blue pen on white, the further it looks like a real notebook is the problem. And so we're having to balance the need for the sense that this is actually sort of something somebody would draw in school with the fact that there's a gameplay necessity to make sure you can see everything. And so we haven't hit that sweet spot yet, but we're working on it.